Welcome to Black Boss, where we highlight and celebrate entrepreneurship in the Black community. I'm your host, Michelle Forbes, and today I have with me, out of Philadelphia, owner of Gray Space Interiors, Rasheeda Gray.
Hi,
Hello.
Michelle. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
Good.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you so much for being here with me today, for making some time.
I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Not a problem. So, Rasheeda, what do you do? Can you explain about Gray Space Interiors?
Sure. So I am Rasheeda Gray, as you mentioned, owner and principal designer of Gray Space Interiors. We are a full service design firm based out of Philadelphia, and we really work with our clients to create the environments they deserve.
Awesome, awesome. So, how did you begin your entrepreneurial journey?
Oh man. Okay, so I just celebrated 5 years, and actually it's been so busy that I totally missed the date. It was on February 28th.
Okay.
I'll be celebrating next week, but it's been 5 years, and really my journey started from a passion for interior design. So
Okay.
I was working in corporate America like many others, and
Mhm.
kind of felt as if there was something missing. Um, I didn't feel like I was tapping into my purpose. And I call it my
Mm.
Jesus here because it happened when I was 33. And I was
Okay.
like, okay, what am I going to do? What am I going to, what do I love to do? What do I enjoy? And I wasn't necessarily looking to start a business, although always been entrepreneurial, if you will, but I wasn't looking to
Mhm.
start a business. I was really just looking to kind of do something that aligned with my passion and purpose
I
in life.
love it.
Um,
Yeah.
and so I kind of spoke that out loud, and I did a vision board, and I'm trying to give you the summary of the journey. I did
Yeah,
a
this is good. Thank you.
I spoke it aloud, and before 33, for a couple years, I was thinking and praying about this, and trying to
Okay.
figure out what I was going to do. I was
Okay.
uncomfortable in my corporate job and my corporate career,
Mhm.
although doing well on the surface, still not fully fulfilled. And one day, I was renovating my own home, and I posted it on social media, my personal social media page. And
Mhm.
my friends and family were all like, "Oh, that's amazing. You should really consider a career in design, or you should be an interior designer." And to me, that was one of those careers that just seemed kind of like impossible. Like, oh, that's for the rich and famous, or oh, that's on TV.
Right. Okay.
So I kind of said, "Oh, thank you," and but the thought would not escape me. And I decided when I spoke it aloud to friends and family that I wanted to pursue it. I went back to school. And up until that point, I have an undergrad degree in marketing and I have a master's degree in business. And I was in
Okay.
America.
Yeah.
So I decided, okay, let me see if I really want to explore interior design and make sure it's not just what's on TV, but it's
Mhm.
something I truly enjoy. And so I went to Temple University for a few courses in interior design, fell even
Okay.
more in love with it. And then that was 5 years ago. And here I am, over almost 200 clients later. Um,
Wow. That is well, congratulations.
thank
I
you.
I have to say that. And with you mentioning, I mean, because 200 clients, that is fantastic growth. And you say that you have a degree in marketing, your bachelor's is in marketing. So what tools did you use to reach that sort of growth within 5 years?
That is a very good question. So, I heard this term one time before, and it has stuck with me. And I'm like, it's perfect. I always, in my pursuit of interior design, always leaned into my transferable skills. So
Mm.
I always encourage someone who's looking to change careers to lean into what you already are good at and see how that can transfer into your new, pursuit. And so
Okay.
for me, in interior design, in marketing, what's common is managing budgets. I had to manage large budgets in marketing and advertising. And so I
Okay.
did the same in interior design. Organizational skills kind of goes across the board, no matter what you're in, and project management skills as well. So I'm
Mhm.
managing projects for marketing for Fortune 500 companies, and I'm doing the same thing for my small business, gray space. Also, even things like just kind of tapping into creativity. And that's how I ended up in marketing.
Yeah.
Honestly, I've always been a creative who
Mhm.
also is I have a bit of a well, I enjoy business as well. So I've always been a
Yeah.
creative and enjoyed business. And so when I went to
What
college,
a fantastic combination.
yeah, like I have to pick a major.
Yeah.
I'm 17. Okay,
Okay.
marketing seems like it's a great major to pick that combines the two. So
Okay.
those two, just finding those skills that you can kind of
Mhm.
lean into. And then, as an entrepreneur, I'm grateful for the skills that I've learned in corporate America,
Mhm.
specifically on the marketing side, and also on, things like an Excel spreadsheet or a pivot table or anything like that I've learned along the way in corporate, but all of
Mhm.
and how to speak to clients, all those things, but especially marketing, because I use that every single day in my business. And I think that has been one thing that's contributed to my success. So what makes me different in interior design is also kind of
Mhm.
what has helped me to be successful.
Awesome. Yeah, that's great. So you were really able to take all the skills that you already had and just apply it to something that you felt more fulfilled in.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I think I hear that so much, it's that purpose and passion piece with that natural skill is like that seems to be the one plus one.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
What do they say when you're trying to think about what you want to do for the rest of your life? Like what or start a business, what will you do for free?
Yep,
And so that was interior design for me. And so yeah,
absolutely.
that's how I got
That
to do it.
that's awesome. That's awesome. So, being an interior designer, it
Mhm.
seems you have to build relationships for people to feel comfortable bringing you into their home. So, how are you able to build relationships in your business?
Hmm. I would say a key to any type of relationship is always listening,
Mm,
um, and then speaking with understanding, and then speaking on your own. Um,
mm,
and so, as an interior designer, the very first call that I have with a potential client, I'm asking them to tell me about their project, and I'm just listening and absorbing. And one thing I
okay.
learned in corporate that I use as an interior designer is, or
Mhm,
as a business owner, is to one, repeat what you heard for understanding,
mm.
and then two, find a commonality. So I think that helps to build relationships. And so I
Right.
always we start with a 15-minute discovery call with our clients. And now I'm like giving away secrets, but I always on those on those 15-minute discovery calls, I'm always
Mhm,
listening for a commonality. And then I'm like either now I can do without writing it down, but sometimes I'll write down something that I want to bring back up that they mentioned. And
mhm.
so I'll say, okay, Mrs. Smith, thank you so much for reaching out to us. We're so grateful to connect with you. After I asked them how they heard about us, because every business
Okay.
owner should be doing that.
Okay.
No marketing or not.
Good
Um,
advice. Free game. Thank
yes,
you.
always ask that because then you know where to put your efforts in terms of marketing.
That
But
makes so
after I
much
say,
sense.
how do you hear about us? And they'll say Google search or Instagram or something like that. And I'll say,
Mhm,
oh, that's great. And then I'll say something along the lines of, so I hear that you are renovating your master bedroom and you're newly married and you and your husband are looking to find a bedroom that really embodies both of your style and
mhm.
kind of creates a retreat for you. Is that what you
Okay.
were saying? And I'll confirm that. And that's what she said. I'm just kind of repeating it, but I'm
Right, right, right.
adding a little flair to it, and then I'm
Mhm.
letting her know that I heard what she said. So then
Right.
that kind of puts them at ease. Okay, she's listening. And then
Mhm.
I'll say, "Did you say that?" I'm gonna come up with the most ridiculous example. I'll say like, "You say your favorite color is red." My favorite color is red too.
Right.
And now I'm joking, but they may say things like,
Yeah.
they lived in a town that I might have lived in or familiar with or something like that. And so
Okay.
I'll try to bring a little bit of who personal into that, like, oh, I too know this thing. And then that also kind of lets down um, people's guards a bit so that you can begin to form a relationship. That's surface
Right.
level stuff. The real trust comes in at
Mhm.
because really early in our process, they're handing us a large sum of money. So the real trust
Yeah.
comes in at um, testimonials from other clients,
Mhm.
referrals from other clients,
Mhm.
And I would say just kind of like being consistent along the way in the process.
Right. That was those are fantastic gems. I was about to say, I know you said it was surface, but that's a fantastic starting point for
Yeah,
sure. Thank you for that.
thank you.
So, how did you know interior design? Well, I know you said it was your purpose and passion. So, how did you know interior design was for you as a career? I guess what made you make that full transition?
Yeah. Okay. So I did both interior design and my corporate job. I was assistant vice president of marketing and communications. Um,
Okay.
I did both jobs for 3 years, three, 3 years, 3 months. Uh,
Okay.
and so it took a while for me to say, okay, I can leave this job and I can do it.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so, while I do believe in my dreams and want to pursue my passion and that kind of thing, I
Mhm.
really needed the tangible evidence. And so I was comfortable with leaving once I could replace my corporate salary with what I was making on my side hustle, my interior
Right.
design business. Um,
Right.
Once I felt like I had a great brand presence and that the pipeline will continue. And so I had to have proven to myself and then also my family, my husband and my children, that
Right.
I could provide to the family what I had been doing before or what I was making in the business. So that was the
Right.
first thing. And then the
Yeah.
other thing is, I thought I wanted to leave earlier than I did. About year one after starting the business, I was like, okay, I can't do both. This is a lot of work. It's exhausting. Um,
Mm.
I am not doing both well, to be honest.
Mm.
Something has to give. And so when I said those words to myself, I started to try to prepare for it. And I was like, no, you're not quite ready. I didn't have savings. Um,
Gotcha.
I didn't have, I didn't feel secure enough in my business just yet. Like my business practices weren't locked down.
Mhm.
I still had a lot to learn. And I always say, learn on someone else's dime. And so
Yep.
I someone else's dime was my corporate paycheck, and I was doing my job. Like I wasn't neglecting
Right.
my corporate job, but they weren't getting the
Mhm.
absolute best from me because I was also building a business. Um,
Right.
and so I said, all right, well, if you feel like this, then you got to prepare. So that's when I started to save money. And that's when I started to I hired a business coach a little bit after that because
Okay.
I couldn't afford it because I was working like a crazy person. So I
Mhm.
hired a business coach and did the work needed to get my processes and visibility and all those things that came along with that kind of in
Okay.
line before I left. So I would say I knew I was ready when it was financially, I was financially solid to do so. And then
Mhm.
also when I was personally and professionally prepared to do so. But I was very intentional about preparation.
Yeah, and I think it takes, intentionality to be able to cross that bridge for sure.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
I will never ever say to someone, "You want to start a business, quit your job today." I think that is be pretty irresponsible.
Yeah.
Um, and then, I'm 33 years old, a mom, a wife with 2 children, a mortgage, and a whole lot of other bills. And
Right.
so I just, I had too much responsibility just kind of say, all right, I'm ready to quit and just quit my job.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is about planning. And I always say my corporate job was my first investor in my business. Um,
Right.
so tap
Yeah. I'm about saying that makes sense because you had so many skills you were able to learn in your corporate job that made a perfect transition
Mhm.
to, I'm about to say, you starting a business and interior design, that marketing piece, that business piece. Oh, I say that's the fantastic part because I know a lot. I know for creatives it can be difficult really getting that business piece with the creative piece because you just want to that need to create is so strong that almost you forget that you're trying to live off of this.
Yeah,
So
it's
yeah,
important. And I actually, if I could do percentages, I would say I probably lean 60% business, 40%
okay,
creative. And so I'm blessed in that way for this reason, because I've quickly realized, even though I love interior design, that my job as CEO of Gray Space is about 25% design, 75% business. And
yeah, I
it's probably
believe it.
for a lot of other business creatives.
Yeah,
So if you don't have those skills, And if you don't have like MBA or undergrad degree in business, then you got to
Mhm.
find a way to hire for someone that does have those skills. Because me on the other side, I don't have all the technical skills, and I'm not afraid to say it because I can't be everything. I don't
Right.
have the technical skills like AutoCAD drawings or something like that in interior design.
What what
But
is that?
AutoCAD is it's a computer system that we use in the interior design industry to draw
Okay.
like construction plans and that kind of thing.
Okay.
So I don't
Cool.
have that skill, for example, but I can hire to that. And then
Right.
if I don't think I can hire, then I need to increase my rates so that I can hire appropriately.
Ah, smart, smart. Yeah, I'm about to say that makes a lot of sense. So the things that don't come quite as natural,
Mhm.
you hire out to be able to expand faster versus I guess either trying to figure it out or beating yourself up about not
Right.
having, this thing. Yeah.
And I don't want to say it's easy to hire because it is, costs money, and you're worried about not being able to pay your own bills, but that's
Right.
the only way to grow. So sometimes you may have
Yeah.
to take a little bit of a temporary cutback in order to hire. And quite honestly, my first hire was when I was still in corporate in 2018. And so I didn't have to worry about paying myself.
Mhm.
I had my corporate job to pay me, and then
Right.
use the money that we earned in the business to pay the person I hired. So
Right. That makes sense. So, Rashida, what is the most fulfilling part of your job?
the most fulfilling part is to um, s- for our clients to see how the transformation in physical spaces affect our clients and how they live.
Hmm.
So I just like visualize in my head like the client reaction when they see this space. They're like, "Oh my gosh!" And
Yeah.
sometimes
Yeah.
there's tears and all of that, and that's
Mhm.
because your environment, especially right now during the quarantine, um,
Mhm.
your
Yeah.
environment just totally has such an impact on your mood and your even like your what's the word, your like productivity and
Yeah.
your wellness and all those things. So the most fulfilling part to me is to kind of make someone else's dream come true and transform their space so they can be their best selves.
Yeah, that's awesome. I can imagine that is very rewarding,
Yeah.
especially during COVID. Because I agree, it's just hard to stay inside. It's difficult on your mental health, and if you're just looking at something that you're not happy to be looking at, it's difficult. It's difficult. It's difficult. So, what's been your favorite interior design project and why?
Can you give me two? So listen, I'm being an entrepreneur and I have someone working today. Um,
Okay.
and she's asking me questions on text. So I'm just responding to her.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Yep.
So give me 1 second. I just want to
Absolutely.
make sure it's okay. I'm like
Yeah,
trying not
I
to.
always tell people, I said, look, when you're interviewing entrepreneurs, you gotta go with
Oh,
the flow. 'Cause they're busy people.
it's crazy.
They're only entrepreneurs because they can multitask and survive on the space. So by
Yes.
all means.
Okay, perfect. All right. So you said what is my favorite client or favorite project?
Project and why.
I would say I was thinking about this question a little bit. What's my favorite? 'Cause I've been asked this before. I have
Mhm.
favorites, but I'm going to talk about the one that I was actually just at yesterday. Uh,
Okay.
so I have a project in Philadelphia, and I'm going to call my client Mr. and Mrs. Smith. So I love both of them, and I'll tell you why and why it's my favorite client project. It's my favorite project because they allowed me as the designer to really um they allowed me it's my favorite project because they allowed me as the designer to really have creative control over the process of
Okay.
the project, and they trusted our team along the way. And
Okay.
so I feel like it's one of my best projects to date because of that creative control. It's amazing.
Mhm.
Clients typically will give us, I like this color, I like this style, and we
Mhm.
ask all those questions at the beginning of the project. And we kind of narrow down like what is it about the style that they like. So we really get to know them. And then
Mhm.
the goal is to allow us to kind of do our creative thing based off of the information that they share with us. And so
Right.
this client has done that. So creatively, it's one of my best projects. And then also, they have been, they were prepared for the investment. And so I know that, interior design is kind of glitz and glam, but it is
Mhm.
a serious investment in your home. And so
Yeah.
I always tell people, just kind of be mindful what the investment is and be prepared for it. So they had uh, a great budget for the project. And then
Yeah.
lastly, they trusted us with the project and the process. And so they would, if there was a design decision to be made on the fly, they would say, go for it, guys. You let us know what you think is best. So yeah, I think it's a
That's
combination of
awesome.
trust, creative control, and then also adequate budget that
Yeah.
really allows us to have a really great project.
Yep. I can see that for sure. Budget and freedom. So,
And I'm
yeah.
not saying everyone has to listen. If I could have an unlimited budget, that would be amazing. So it
Right.
wasn't that their budget was like something insane, but it was just
Mhm.
adequate enough for the project.
Yeah, for the project at hand. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is fun. As I said, when you have, the adequate budget there and everybody is on board and there's trust, you can just kind of create. And that's awesome. Yeah. So what have been in the service of interior design, how are you able to connect with people to bring, well, you kind of already answered that. You actually answered that a few ways very well as far as the relationship building and connecting with people to bring their vision to life. You even mentioned your 15-minute call in the beginning.
Yep.
So absolutely. What have been your biggest wins and biggest losses? When I say losses, I always have to say lessons because I tell people in entrepreneurship, entrepreneurs are as successful as they are, or able to do what they're even doing in their business because they're problem solvers first and foremost. And in order to be a great problem solver, you're going to take some losses in order to learn lessons. So, in entrepreneurship, what have been your biggest wins and your biggest lessons so far?
Whew, geez. How long do we have? I know social media, we always highlight the great things, but and I got to do a better job at this too, to highlight kind of the good and the bad, just to show a little bit of balance. But um, I've been fired from a job before. Um,
Mhm.
and I don't know if I said that out loud, but it was early on, and um the client felt as if I wasn't giving their project enough personal attention. And I
Mhm.
think, quite honestly, at that time, I wasn't. I was still in my corporate job and just trying to balance the two.
Right.
Probably bit off more than I could handle. And so their design plan was not my best, and they
Mhm.
weren't satisfied. And yeah, they fired me. Um, and it was fine. I gave them back whatever refund was remaining and kind of walked away. And it was a lesson
Right.
learned.
Yeah.
I've been threatened to be sued before. So I was like,
Okay.
I've always had insurance because my marketing career is in insurance. So I've always had property
Okay.
insurance for my business. But um,
Ah.
so those things, the threatened to be sued, that client eventually actually apologized, that they reacted.
Mhm.
And I did have a process in place where they approved they actually did not like the end result of the project, the install, and all the furniture in place. And thank goodness we had a process in place where they approved their design plan. But
Mhm.
for that particular project, which was early on as well, it was approved verbally, and I didn't get any approvals in writing. And so, if they did not if they decided to pursue and they didn't apologize for overreacting, it probably could have been a bit worse than what it was. So my lesson from that was to
Right.
always get everything in writing, especially when it comes to money. um,
Right.
and
Right.
every single time something happens, like a little tidbit, like I had a client reach out to one of my contractors before without touching base with me,
Mhm.
kind of like behind my back. And not that
Mhm.
I'm territorial, but I know how that contractor works. And so
Yeah.
if I'm kind of tied to that person and use them and something doesn't work out, then you're
Mhm.
still gonna connect it to me, even if I didn't know. Um,
Gotcha.
so there's a part of my contract that mentions, that they're not to reach out to any of our contractors without contacting us first. So
Okay.
anytime something like that happens, I always add it to my contract.
Yes, that makes sense. Yeah,
So
that
my
very much
contract was
makes
one
sense.
page at first, and now it's almost 3 pages. Um,
Yeah.
and then my greatest wins.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, this year has already kind of like skyrocketed. It's been
Awesome.
amazing. So my greatest win,
That's a good year.
yes, thank you.
Yep.
My greatest win so far is leaving my corporate job to pursue entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
Um, when it again, I mentioned it took me 3 years, 3 months to do it. It
Hmm.
was a risk for me. I stepped out on faith and I planned and prepared for it. So that's
Right.
the greatest win. And then just a couple weeks ago, I was named House Beautiful Magazine Next Wave Designer. In our
Ooh.
industry, it's a huge deal.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
So House Beautiful is a staple industry publication for us, and um,
Awesome.
there's 12 designers in the country, and so to be on that list is an honor.
Wow. A list of 12 in the country.
Actually, U.S., Canada, and Mexico. There's 12 of us total.
Wow.
Um,
Yeah.
it's an honor, and I'm
That's a win. Yeah. Congratulations. That's
pretty.
awesome.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, it's been, I mean, anyone who follows me on social media, they probably
Mhm.
know that it's been a lot of amazing accomplishments. But just know, even in spite of all that, there's lessons learned, as you said, that happen all the time. Like in a day, I could be like, oh my gosh, I'm House Beautiful Next Wave Designer. And then 2 hours later, I'm like, oh my gosh, this client wants to curse me out.
Yep, that's entrepreneurship.
Like this all the time.
Yeah,
But for the
sounds
most
about
part,
right.
yeah, the good has definitely outweighed the bad, so it's been great.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, if you had any advice for someone looking to work in the interior design field as an entrepreneur, what advice would you give them?
I would say you gotta be strong in either the business side or the design side,
Mm,
um, and not kinda waver. So, you should have experience working in a business for someone else, as I
mhm.
have had, or have experience working as an interior designer for another designer. Uh,
Okay.
I would have either one of those experiences behind me before jumping out into your own thing.
Mhm.
Um, I would also say, um, just educate yourself as much as possible. I want a non-traditional education path because I already have a degree in, a different industry. When it came to design, I didn't go for a 2 or 4 year or a master's level degree. So
Mhm.
everyone's path is different, but kind of
Right.
evaluate what your skills and weaknesses are, and then whatever those weaknesses are, I would either educate myself to that or hire for someone to kind of fill in the blanks.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So you're a big proponent of if you're going to work a job, make sure the skills that you're learning can be applied to what you want to do as an entrepreneur. So you're not ultimately, I guess, wasting time. You're
Yeah,
getting a great
and it's
experience.
kind of hard to figure out like what skills are needed as an entrepreneur. I mean, I think
Mhm.
because an entrepreneur wears so many different hats that really
Yeah.
any job you can find a way to kind of marry the skill.
Right. You're right.
Yeah, it's because there's so many things that we have to do, but
Yeah.
I would say none of your time is wasted. I think everything happens for a reason. When I first decided I want to go into interior design, I was like, here I am, tens of thousands of dollars in student loan debt from another career. Um,
Mhm.
15 years is what I spent in corporate, 15 years of time
Okay.
in another career. And now I'm thinking about switching to something totally different. Um,
Yeah.
that was my first thought. I had some self doubt initially, but
Yeah.
geez, the amount of knowledge that I obtained in corporate,
Mhm.
processes, even something simple like the discipline that you get from working in a corporate
Mhm.
job, having to go to work
Mhm.
every day, 9 to 5 or whatever the time frame was, um,
Mhm.
knowing how to prepare emails. I mean, just there's always something to learn from your experiences. So
Yeah.
that self-doubt thought that I had initially went away really quickly when I realized,
Mhm.
oh, I do need to know how to run a pivot table, and I do need to identify KPIs in my business, key performance indicators in my business, like I did in corporate. So all of
Right.
that stuff
Okay.
matters, and it's for a reason.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of it's a lot of skills. I was about to say it's a lot of transferable skills.
Yep.
That's
It's
awesome.
helping.
So you are very knowledgeable. I can already tell in in this brief conversation, not just about, what you do as an entrepreneur, but the way you understand business, the way you understand marketing.
Yeah.
You're very, very knowledgeable. So I have to ask you, is there anything that you feel like people should know about, say, going into entrepreneurship that's not talked about often, that you feel like would in some way help them? Because I didn't form any questions around it, but I'd like to give you the opportunity. If you have anything you'd like to share, you know I'd like to give you this opportunity to do so.
Whew. All right. I'm going to try to keep it brief. What did I learn that was a sticker shock when I became an entrepreneur?
Mhm.
Um, I learned that it's very, you have to adjust quickly to, I mean, let's say you're going from a job to entrepreneurship. There's no one around to tell you what to do and how to do it and what's important and when to do it. Um,
Yeah,
and so I got all those kinks out when I was in corporate, um, because I would say, all right, I have off today from corporate. I'm going to try to get some rest and not work on my business. And
yeah,
that is not, you can't do that if you want to be successful as an entrepreneur. So I guess
yeah,
just like, um, personally, I've learned that you have to work harder as an entrepreneur than you ever
mhm.
did with anything else before that. In order for it to be successful, unless you got a ton of money, but I mean,
Right.
most, but most Black entrepreneurs, we don't have access to the capital or the money that our white counterparts have. And so
Right.
we're building our businesses from the muscle and from like
Mhm.
grassroots efforts. And sometimes that takes a little bit more work to do that. So being an
Right.
entrepreneur does not mean that you get to wake up whenever you want to. It does not
Right.
mean that you get to kind of operate whenever you want to. It really means that you're probably going to work harder than you ever have in your entire life. But that also means that the reward is
Yeah.
higher than anything you've ever had as well.
Yeah. Thank you for that, because I 120% agree. And I feel like that is a big fallacy, when people even the title of the show being Black Boss, how people think of, being a boss, and it's like, oh, I could wake up whenever and I just delegate and I just, in order to get to a place of in order to get to a place of doing that, you got to be the first person. You
Yes.
got to be the first person that you're delegated to.
Yep.
You got to be the first person, to make all these things happen before you can be a boss in any other area of the business. So thank you for saying that, because that's the reality.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I did everything by myself for 2 years.
Mhm.
And then I brought someone on board part time, and I still do things that boss doesn't. When people think of the term, probably
Right. I'm thinking of what it is.
still steaming
Mhm.
curtains and whatever else needs to be done.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of what's required to get the work done, and you'll
Mhm.
eventually grow and kind of move past that. But you got to start somewhere.
Yeah, and I think that is being a boss. It's the first boss up has to be, within yourself, to really be the person to go out and do it. And that's something that because Madi was the one who, introduced us, which is fantastic. I appreciate. But her and her husband Derek, spoke about um just that what is it? The boss mentality, the employee mentality
Oh
versus
yeah, I saw that.
the owner mentality. And you spoke to it as well, when you said there's nobody there to tell you what to do. There's nobody there that's going to say, hey, these are the next steps. This needs to be done by Thursday. This needs to be,
Yep.
there's nobody there holding you accountable and
I'm
going. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I was just going to say, I'm always asking myself because you can get overwhelmed by the amount of things that need to be done. So I always
Right.
think to myself, okay, your priority are revenue producing things. What's going to
Mhm.
produce revenue? And anything
Right.
else, you need to find a way to delegate either internally or externally. You can always hire virtual assistants, that kind of thing. But yeah,
Right.
there is no one to really kind of share with us exactly what needs to be done to get the job done. So you have to do it. And then
Mhm.
also get a village around you too.
Yeah.
Marty and I talk about business, and she's one of my like extended village members. So if there's anyone
Yeah.
I need to talk to about being a business owner, I have a mentor
Mhm.
or two. One's
Mhm.
formal, one's informal. Um,
Okay.
I had a business coach. My husband's an entrepreneur, so he's like, I talk to
Awesome.
him all the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, get you a village, but the buck stops with you. You are it.
Right. Absolutely. Well, Rasheeda, thank you so much.
You
Thank you for your time. Thank you for your knowledge. Thank you for your openness. But to say, I know you drop little tidbits all through here, so I hope people go ahead and scoop them up because
yeah,
yeah, it's. But I say it can be difficult just finding honest conversation about what it looks like to be an entrepreneur without without the flowers and without the fruits really.
yeah,
Because that's really what it is. You have to plant seeds and you have to water them before any fruit comes. So being able to paint a realistic picture of entrepreneurship, I really really appreciate that.
yeah.
So thank you.
Definitely. Thank you so much for having me.
No problem. So there's two things that I have left.
Yep.
First thing being, where can the people find you?
Okay, so we are Gray Space Interiors.
Mhm.
So you can find us on our website, grayspaceinteriors.com. And then every social media handle is Gray Space Interiors for Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, you name it.
Awesome. 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 Okay. And the second thing being, this is Black Boss tradition. I have everybody who participates say their name and say that they're a Black boss.
Okay. So my
Mhm.
name is Rasheeda Gray, and I am a Black boss.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I always love that part.
That's awesome. I love that.
I'm glad. How to say it always gives me a joy to hear other people say it. Awesome, awesome. Well, thank you so much. I must say, I know you're busy. It's Saturday. I don't want to take any more of your time to do whatever you need to do on this day.
Thank you so much, Michelle. This is great. Thank you.
Yeah, it was a pleasure. Thank you, thank you.
Okay, have a good one.
You too. Take care.
Bye.
Bye. You got to log out.
Oh, all right. I was like, did you want a few minutes so that there's like a break? Okay, yeah. All right, I'm
Yeah,
gonna log out
so,
for real now.
so many people do that. It's all good.
I'm like, is that a
I
buy for the
enjoy that as
camera?
well.
I was like, is that the buy for the camera we're gonna stay on, or is that the real buy?
No, I do my end piece at the end.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna log out. See
So
you later.
much.
Bye bye.
Bye. Thank you so much to Rasheeda Gray. That was so much fun. She was awesome. Please check out her work on her Instagram. I'll definitely put all her information up so you'll be able to see, the things she's done, the things that she's accomplished. I know she's been on Good Morning America. It's just, a bunch of, like she said, it's been some highlight things in her career, and to be doing it for 5 years, that's incredible. That should give you, some real hope that if you tap into your purpose and your passion and you do it with consistency for a good amount of time, that something will come from it. Even if it's not exactly what you think will come from it, something will inevitably come from it because you're putting the cause out there to have an effect. So never be afraid of, the cause that you're creating, because it's going to create an effect. Unless the cause that you're creating is negative, then you should probably expect something not so good come down the pipeline. But that's just the way things work. So if you put good cause out there, then good effects will come down the pipeline. So definitely do that. Thank you so much to Rasheeda. I learned so much just from the conversation, business and marketing. You could tell she was incredibly knowledgeable. I appreciate her taking the time out to have a conversation with me. And yeah, I appreciate you guys for watching. This has been Black Balls. Please, for full episodes, check out Black Ball Certified on YouTube. I'm Black Ball Certified on Instagram and Black Ball Certified on Facebook. So please like, follow, subscribe, continue the celebration, continue the highlighting. And I hope that you guys enjoy. Take care. Love you guys. Be inspired. Go out, seek purpose, seek passion. You can do it. You can do it. Thank you guys. Take care. Peace.